Yo everybody, it's Heat Override and I'm ready to bring the pain for you this week. Yes, it's time to do it. It's time to talk about video game football games. And what better way to do it since joining up with this Tecmo Super Bowl group, do the new podcast. It's going to be a short and sweet one. So let's get to it. Yo everybody, it's Heat Override. So let's get to it. Bring the pain! Let's keep it going. Oh yeah. You know what? This is how Bring the Pain's gonna be right now. Look at this. Finally got that in there. Got the mic right here. You know, don't mind me hitting anything in the background. Got the other mic over here for the podcast. So this Bring is the Pain! Fun stuff. But while we're doing this, I gotta do something. So I got yelled at the other day because I didn't share anything, and I definitely have to go share Bling You Crazy with the wife, because, you know, she was like, yo, you can't do that. This is, you're going live too fast. And I'm like, you know what? I was like, we're okay. We got this. So now I have to make sure that I get in there. So while I'm doing that, we're going to be doing this live episode of Bring the Pain. Bring the Pain! Yeah! So, this episode right here, we're going to be talking about Tecmo Super Bowl, 10-yard fight, John Madden football. We're going to be talking about different systems, different things. You know, this is where really gaming is found. You know, like, you can't hide that gaming is about being competitive right from the go, okay? And that being said, you know, who could get farther in Mario? Who could get all this stuff? It's about actually making yourself a better gamer so that you can play other games. So, you know, you start out with football, or maybe basketball, or baseball was predominantly back then, you know, and then you had ice hockey for the Nintendo. So you did have some crazy games. Now, that being said, it's one of those things that I'm almost done. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you gotta do it. So, what? That being said, I wanted to start it off and take it off like that. Like, I played, when I did my other video game podcasts, I talked about, you know, my number one foes, my best buds, you know, my boy Juwan, and my boy Brian D, and Brian B, you know, Dave. Dave was a big influence too. And you know what? You got to make sure you get. Oh yeah! So like, follow him, you know, wherever you can find him at, because, you know, thank you for my intro. Ooh yeah. So, that being said, you had to think. So I saw this Tecmo Super Bowl group come up, right? And I'm like, oh, okay, this is cool, man. This is cool. I like Tecmo Super Bowl. You know, so, I mean, I'm good at it, and I'm about to explain why. So I'm like, all right, get in there, man, trash talking right away. These people just talking. I'm throwing pixel and large moves. Hey, nobody knows what's going on. It's crazy. It's fun. It's good. So if you go over to Facebook, Tecmo Super Bowl, you get that in there. But, okay, so here it goes. Goes back to the Atari. Before any of my friends, really. So, you know, we had real sports football. And my dad loved football. So he'd always be the first player because he was older and I was second player, you know. Eventually, I was always first player. You know that. Player ready, number one. Yeah, I mean, I'm a jerk. What can I say? I got to be first player. But, you know, sometimes the second player was like, maybe that was more your stat, like your guy that you might use. So, that being said, you know, you wanted to actually get that. So, the one thing that I can definitely say is gaming has been a big part of my life because it allowed me to be competitive with my friends. And just go all out and have such a great time doing the things that I loved, which was playing video games competitively against my friends. So, that being said, my dad, blue team, and I'm telling you, real sports football, the blue team is better than the red team. Okay? Like, there's no comparison. It's the blue team's way faster. So I always lost, but eventually I won. I won with that other team. And I told my dad, I was like, if I'm the blue team, I'm going to win. So then, finally I beat him with the other team. And that's kind of when he stopped playing. So then, there was 10-yard fight and so many other different things that was going on.
Hell yeah!
So that's when you have all those, like, eventually Nintendo came out. So then Nintendo comes out, and we're like, all right, well, what do you got? Well, I remember walking home from school one day, and buddy was like, yo, we're gonna go to my dude John P's house and go play some Tecmo Bowl. I was like, oh, Tecmo Bowl? They were like, they got the real teams in that, actually? They were like, yeah. I was like, whoa, okay. Tecmo Bowl. All right. So I get there, and I got the fucking Raiders, man. Come on. I'm sorry if you're a Raider fan. I'm not trying to really, shoo you away, but I'm a Ram fan, okay? So, whatever, I used them, and then, I would use San Francisco, and it was cool, and it was neat. There's plays, but for me, it was like, I just wanted something more. So, but we all played Tecmo Bowl, so we did that, and, right about that time, we also started getting, like, double dribble. So, in ice hockey for the Nintendo. So, you start getting all this, like, this game, Base Wars. This game, it was, like, literally, like, robots, and it was, like, close call. You would fight for it. So, you could literally run around if your robot was strong enough and get some runs, and me and my buddies want to play that game all the time, too. The same way we always played, Tecmo Bowl, and then it finally came out for all of us. For all of us, it finally came out. Tecmo Super Bowl. There were the Rams. And it was the Rams I loved. Flipper Anderson, Henry Eller, Jim Everett, Kevin Green, So many different players on this team. And what made it good was the Rams. That was my peak. That was when I was like, entering my teen years. So that, and they ranked the Rams really good. They did. They gave the Rams great ratings. Like, I was surprised. I was like, oh, shit. This is awesome. So, everybody went and checked their teams. The Raider guy checks his Raiders. Of course, Bo and Marcus Allen. He would go put Marcus Allen at receiver. You had to. He had to get him in there somehow. So then, I had the San Francisco buddy. I had my buddy DeWan. He used Houston and he used Chicago. Chicago he's a Bears fan, straight up Bears fan. So, he would always talk, and we would always talk, and everything like that. So we had the Atlanta Falcon fan, so we had the run and shoot getting done. So then we had all sorts of different friends. We had the Cleveland Brown fan, we had the Kansas City Chief fan. We had the Denver Bronco fan. We had all the fans just like all of you, and so we were highly competitive. Some of us more than others. We actually started putting money up, and I even lost the one time I was out of money, and I was like, I got nothing. And my dude was like, well then, hey, why don't you run in the other room and get your dad? Because my dad would get these like Rice Krispie treat packs for free, so like a whole fucking box of them. And he was like, yo man, just go get 2 of those, man. I know they're 50 cents each, man. He's like, just throw that up for $1. And I'm like, dude, seriously, how are you going to do that? So anyway, I ended up winning the $1 back, but I gave him the 2 anyway, because it was like, what do you do? Like, I can't really do it. I do it. So, DeWan would really do some funny shit. Like, he was my alter ego in shit talking. Like, he would just dig me the way I would dig him, and it would be so fucking fun. And again, he is a big reason that, I know about the black culture and everything with his father being a reverend. I've mentioned this many times before about him as well, too. But that was it. And it was like, and systems, and then there's so much to talk about that guy. But a lot of it was gaming. So, you know, me and him get into these dredged out battles. It would be the Giants versus Chicago. And then somehow LT would go excellent by the end of the game, and it would piss him off. And then we would play a game, and then he would go beat Houston, and then he would trounce me. And I'd be like, oh, no, man, screw that. All right, then I'd go beat the Rams, and we'd have a shootout, and I'd probably win that, or sometimes he'd win that. Then he came right back, and then I would beat him. And then it was just constant. Then he'd go beat the Bills. And one thing we always said, too, is every time we were Dan Marino, whether it be Tecmo Bowl and whether it be Madden, when you started being able to use the year teams, and even in the current teams, anytime anybody, I swear to God, anytime anybody took Dan Marino, led Miami Dolphin team, he got hurt. Literally, first fucking play, he just passed. Come on, man. Like, seriously, you can't do that, man. That kills it, man. So, that being said, we go back to the whole little thing right here, right? It's Tecmo Bowl. Tecmo Super Bowl. So, you know, we start doing seasons with my friends. I mean, 3-4 of us, Saturday afternoon, sitting around, going a whole season. We would all play our games, you know, we reduced the minutes so that we would get through the games faster, because sometimes it would be like me, would do Bob, and then my dude Brian. And we'd just be there on Saturday, and then sometimes my brother would play, but he didn't really play sport games, so. Anyway, we keep going on, and it's like, you know, we just love this game. So then, you know, Super Nintendo comes out, so some Tecmo Super Bowl games come out. Right about this time, me and Dwan are, like, kind of done with Tecmo magic, because, you know, like, we did the whole pixel enlargement, which if you've never heard about pixel enlargement, you gotta, at one opportune point, when you feel like you might know something, you gotta go as close to the TV as possible when you're hitting pass, or you're hitting somebody, like hit with the good old dive. You could tell the dive. Like, he stops, he pauses for a second, he goes, and it goes, and the next thing you know, boom! And that can be the worst thing ever. Tecmo is cheesy. There's a lot of, like, nose tackle things, and of course, like, LT's always in the backfield. Like, my buddy once said it best. He goes, he's like, he literally just camps in the backfield on every fucking kick I take, every field goal I take. I can't even freaking wait for it to come back down, because I know that he's already diving. I know that your ass is already diving on me, because I put the bang. Ooh, yeah. So, that being said. It was like pure goodness, pure things just like happening. And then so, like, you know, sometimes I would get a little better. I would be playing a season. So, you know, you played a season. Well, if during that season, say LT was on Excellent, he would know. He'd be like, you're playing the season again, Rob. I told you I'm going to come delete your season. Because he was like, he called me out. He goes, You fast forward the season until you have, like, Otis Meathead Anderson and LT on Excellent, don't you? I did a couple times. Not all the time, because I didn't want to play a season. And sometimes you come over. We were boys. Like, all my friends would just come over, because a lot of other people's parents and stuff, they would be doing their things, working late nights. My mom was always home, so that was just right there. And then my dad would be home by, like, 3, 4, and then he would go leave to go do some cleaning and some janitor shit. So, and my mom would always have so much supper, so, like, anybody of my friends come over, a lot of my friends will tell you that my mom fed them. You know, God rest her soul, she's amazing. Dude, y'all don't know about no 2 a.m. cheeseburgers. Fucking come in with a whole plate of cheeseburgers, and we would just eat them all. My brother would eat like 10. Tommy just 8. And so, you get back to Tecmo Bowl, and now me and Duane are like, yo, and he goes, yo, they got this John Madden game. You know, we knew about Joe Montana Sports Talk Football and all that stuff too, but we didn't have Genesis. We were Super Nintendo guys. So finally, you know, Nintendo finally got Madden. And Madden 93, we get it. And we just start playing it. And it's got some year teams. So, you know, we start talking, and we're like, all right. You know, so we play a lot. And then he goes over to somebody else, and the Genesis version was better. Plus, they released a championship edition later that year. I was just stoked. So then Madden 94 comes out, straight up right there. That's your game. For the Super Nintendo, it was so fast. I had my Dickerson Rams. I had my 79 Rams. I was in heaven. And that's what video gaming is all about. Is when you're doing some great things and having good times with your friends, maybe, that's where some of my gambling in my life started, but whatever. It's never really controlled me as a person, so I think that being said, that says a lot. So, the thing is we get into Madden 94, and we're just constantly playing everything. Marino's still getting hurt. And, I would go up, I remember, I would take the regular Cowboys. The Cowboys were stacked that year, right? So then he got pissed at me because the one day I would take Cowboys, and every time I was like Michael Irving, I would go push this dude out of the way. And he's like, it's fucking bullshit. And if I didn't, push back, he'd push back, right? He'd get pass interference. And he'd be so fucking angry. My dad used to tell me stories about, me and him just playing games late night, just gambling and fucking losing and having some crazy fucking times, man. But that's what gaming is about. Again, people say gaming was bad for you. No, man, we kept us home. It kept all my friends around me to have fun. That's all the times that all of you had fun with all of your friends. So, you get Madden 94. And you know what? Right around that time, I got me a Panasonic 3DO. So I actually got the John Madden football for the 3DO, which was bigger and badder. It had these really cool, if you went into your change your team on. So Bettis was when Bettis got into the Madden game, he was kind of crappy. The updated one for the 3DO, Bettis was good. So me and Dewan just moved to the next game. So meanwhile, my other friends were still playing Tecmo because they really didn't like that Madden sort of game yet. And that really was a lot of downfall for people. So, we're playing Madden. And I'm like, yo, this shit is good. So, me and him had been getting into some arguments. Of course, we played Tecmo NBA. I remember one time, lo and behold, one time. So in Tecmo NBA, right, you get that. When you shoot a three-pointer, it always goes in, right? So, Twine, he started getting cheesy. He started going down every time I shoot a three-pointer because he had Michael Jordan, because it was Lakers versus Wolves. He would go down there, and he would always try to goaltend. So he would just goaltend it, right? And I was like, dude, stop goaltending. He'd be like, no, one time, Rob. One time, I'm gonna get that. And I'm like, dude, you can't get it. That's fucking bullshit, dude. There's no way. It's a goaltend. You go down and you're fucking grabbing or hitting the ball out of there. It's a goaltend. You're way down there. You're nowhere near me. And so he's like, no, fuck that. So comes this game, right? I'm down by 2, and I go running down the thing. I got Magic Johnson, right? And I just pull up, and he's seen that cinema scene, and he was like, and this was for marbles, man. We threw down 20 this game. For a couple of 14, 15, 13-year-olds, man, $20 for a game, that's crazy, right? But me and Dewan always did feel bad. There was always that brother camaraderie. A lot of times it would end up being somebody made a little more, or somebody didn't make a little more, or somebody would get it back. So it was really a 50-50 between me and him, because we had the same play style. We played each other the same way. We were very dominant against each other that way. And anytime we took this against anybody else, they couldn't keep up the speed. That's a lot of the reason why my friends already knew me and Dewan were already too far into it, so they didn't even want to play us. They actually came all around at Madden 98. That's when my boy Craig, my boy Brian D, and all them, they got into that. And I'll actually say, I was into computer Maddens during that time. Sorry about that. I was into computer Maddens around that time, and I played, was it Madden 2000 for the computer? It was just, I swear to God, it was one of the best games ever. And I'm going to tell you what, too. Madden 99 for the Nintendo 64, you will love that game, man. That's some really cool fun. It's the fun Madden, So these are fun Madden. So during this year, Madden to kind of follow up, bam, NFL 2K, which is what I think is one of the big holy grails. We're not going to talk about super play action football. That game was good. It had that kind of, diagonal kind of view, and then you kind of just passing was weird, but hey, it was alright if you wanted to play a game. And then the college games, you know, you can't forget about them, the NCAAs. You know, me and my friends, man. I mean, that's when we kind of got into the college games. It's like the '97s, because that's when I could have like, you know, because I was always Penn State. You know, we used like Notre Dame. You know, buddy, he'd go use like Florida State or something like that. But he knew that. So, right about 2001, my friends had started playing a little more, and Dewan joined the Marines at the time. So, you know, again, thank you for your service, brother, man. And by doing that, like the last game, I'll say that me and him beat together was Mario 64. We did the entire 120, is it? Yeah. Did the 120 in one night. He just smoked Black and Mild, fan on, window open, 6 hours, 7 hours of just gaming, me and him, cheeseburgers, and we beat that game. And then he went on that. But anyway, back to it. So, like, my boy Brian D, my brother at this time, you know, and this is like No Mercy time, this is like GoldenEye time, and stuff like that. So kind of, football gaming kind of died down, but then NFL 2K, that Dreamcast, man, and then NBA 2K, bam, that was it. We were all locked into both those games. And that was cheesy. They used to get really freaking pissed because it was kind of arcade-ish, and y'all know what I'm talking about with it, with the whole NFL 2K. You could do that charge up movie. If you just had Marshall Faulk, you just charged him up, and you just did a dance at the right, like, it would create like a fake bubble, and my friends were getting pissed. But then they would do some cheesy shit too. They would go option to like a punt formation, and they would come out of the punt formation with their players and shit. My team would just react to it, and I couldn't pull them out of it in time, and then you would just get stuck, and there's nothing you can do except burn a timeout, or if you didn't buy a timeout, you had to just play the ball. So NFL 2K1 really was one of my better years too, because after that, you know, these are the Rams Super Bowl years. So, you know, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Tony Cole, just unstoppable. Defense was good, because it didn't matter if the defense got scorched during those years when we got like Aeneas Williams. That was still somebody good that in a game like that we could actually play hard. So that's the one thing that you always gotta remember, is that to me it's one of those things that you wanna savor and kind of like always remember, because you're playing with your boys, you're playing all these games. So, you know, and give props out to that Panasonic John Madden football. If you never played that, go check that out. And go in to check your thing, change your players, right? And up in the corner, it says, like, hit C for highlights of your teams. And this cheesy, like, almost soccer kind of guy comes on and, like, reads these crazy things. And he's like, he will not be denied. So, that being said, get back to it. You know, you're getting all that. Bam. Brother-in-law gets into this world right now, and now Madden 03 come out, Madden 04 come out, and bam, me and him start playing. 05 and 06, which is, I think, really just the best Madden game. I mean, me and him literally got in a lot of trouble for literally playing that every weekend for, like, we played Madden 05 and Madden 06, and, you know, his wife Erin, and, of course, my wife Christy Ray, literally, like, you guys been playing Madden for 3 years for every weekend. But that was something me and my friends did. GoldenEyes on Tuesdays, Super Mario Kart 64, you know, Mortal Kombat, you know, but it was GoldenEye on Sunday nights. Tuesday nights was always the No Mercy night. And, you know, and like I said, but I lived with some of my friends, like my boy Brian D, my brother. So me and my brother and Brian, all we did was just play Mario Kart 64. All we did. We all played it all the time. And just like, I mean, we lived there. We had nothing. We would just go work a shift. My brother would come and deliver with me. We'd come home and we just 18 hours, be off all day. Doing the crazy things, man. So we have it. But me and my boy Josh, man, whew, he rekindled me. He kept me warm with all these, because all my friends kind of started doing their own things. And that's what he kind of did. So, man, Madden 06, and of course, like 07 and 08, you know, that's kind of like just playing. You know, you get into other things during those times. Even this time, I remember this game. It was this card game. It was called Red Zone. It was supposed to be like Magic the Gathering. And I went and bought a whole bunch of packs for it. Like, I still have the shit. You know, and I got like... So you just you'll play your teams down, and then you would play your cards. And then you play your cards against another opponent. And if, you know, something happened, you get an interception. And if it happened, you flip a card, and it could be a touchdown or a 10-yard gain or an 18-yard gain. The better the card, you know, the better player, the better the card, the better the card. It just really worked out. It was really cool. You know, and I got a starter pack and a few extra packs, and then it just went away. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could find one. So, you know, we're talking about all these things, and you can't forget about the current Maddens. Right now, they're so realistic. So realistic, the current Maddens are right now. But that's not what everybody wants sometimes. I wouldn't mind sitting up with my dude Josh and just sitting down and just playing a game of Madden 06. You know, Will Witherspoon. You guys got no idea, man. Hit stick, fumble, Will Witherspoon, interception. He had the arm sleeves. Freaking making me wear the arm sleeves now. Go to heat override. Yeah. It was like, yo, this whole thing, it's always been good to play video game football. It started with my dad. Continued with my boys one. Just continued with my other boys. You know, Dave, John P. John Z didn't really get into that stuff. Brian B. You know, he's a Pittsburgh fan. And his Bubby Brister, some Eric Green days, you know. And he didn't really care much for those games. And, you know, Bob Stroop and him always taking the Niners. Nobody else. It just was good times. Good times. And it all comes down, like, you gotta understand, it was a long time for, like, people who had Nintendo and didn't really have a Genesis and a Sega Genesis, even with those Madden footballs, and, like, when the computer was coming out with Madden footballs, we just had Tecmo Super Bowl. That's all we did. That's why, literally, it's still relevant to this day. They make updates for it every year. They just made a gold edition where it's like the greatest players on all their teams all the time. Yo, I got a Nintendo upstairs. That's why I'm, you know, the god of gaming. Like, I don't care. Like, half these people think that you have no... If you got a good resume, bring it. Bring it. Like, 'cause seriously, I do too. Yo, the same dude, me and my boy Dewan beat Battletoads. I've rigged that. Go check out my video game podcast. Yeah, I talk shit. That's what makes me a jerk. But I make you better, and you make me better, and that's what gaming's about. Gaming with your boy, having some beers, you know, all night. You got a day off, they got a day off, man. You just play games till 7 a.m. Man, I was taking people home. Sun was killing my eyes, man. And you know, I had stopped drinking at that point. It's crazy, but that's what gaming is about. Gaming is about those things in life. And Tecmo Super Bowl and that group kind of is renewing that for me. But before that, it was a man named Joshua. He did Toys from Low, Lockport, New York. Go check him out on Facebook. Dude, sell you anything. He's got a great toy store. He's setting up an arcade, setting up a video game history thing. He's got it all. He's buying all these pieces. He's doing it for all of you. Keeps his prices low. He's a good dude. He ships super fucking fast. But check out Toys from Low. You know, and at the same time, think about this. We have so many auctions right now. And so many people are so sad because of, you know, the current thing. I'm not going to say it during this episode. Not going to say it. Told you the positive episode's going straight forward. That shit's gone. No more. See? Can't do it. Oh, yeah. So, that being said, it's like it comes down to this whole little thing. Camaraderie. Getting that I want that Tecmo Bowl Super Bowl. I want that. I mean, I don't know if anybody will play with me. I might just play a season alone and just post my pictures like they do. But you guys gotta check me out on Twitch too. I have a lot of gaming right now that I have all this set up right here. I'm gonna have some gaming coming on, and you know, I will show you why I'm the god of gaming, and I'll also show you my shit talking too. I'm pretty fucking good at it, but. Hey, sometimes, man, people just fuck up, and it's just like, come on, dude, you're just sitting there, we're losing, or, you know, you get it. But you know what? There's always that one little time in the episode when it's time for